Hello, slimes and non-slimes alike. Rosie here, and today we're running a very different build on the Judgment, that being a Hex build, utilizing Ruin, Retribution, and one of the new teachable perks from the Judgment, Hex Under Your Thumb. I haven't really talked too much about the unique perks for the Judgment. However, Under Your Thumb makes it so that whenever a survivor is hooked, it will then activate. And then once it is active, if a survivor has any form of haste that exceeds over 15%, it will get lowered down to 15% and you will be notified. And I think it gets value eventually. There are 2 life users in this game, I do know that, but I don't think the perk actually activates at all. We're also running Pentimento, which just gets hard countered because they also brought boons, so I just lose out on Pentimento stacks, but who the fuck cares? That was a really nice flick. Really quick down early on, I get my Exile going, and something I do hate about this map is that it is god-awful for the Judgment, because the way you play Forgotten Realms is that you can't really take any chases underground, because that's just a bad idea, but you can't fire anything below you as the Judgment, which sucks. So, also, I'm 90% sure that the dungeons are so far underneath the map that firing them underneath don't actually cause them to go up. I think it's too high up for the beam to actually catch someone on surface level if you're firing off the beams from the dungeon, which yeah, that's just another reason why this map sucks. I love this map, I love the Dungeons & Dragons map, but dear god is this shit hot ass. So, I feel like Retribution was a pretty obvious choice on the Judgment for totem builds, but who the fuck cares? I got another nice flick right there on the Leon, who I decided to go ahead and hook for Hex Under Your Thumb. Now, Hex Under Your Thumb is already active. I don't know how. I didn't hook anyone until right then, but the Hex lit up when I picked up the Leon for some reason. I think that might be a bug. I don't think it's supposed to do that, but I don't know. I just work here. Now, Hex Under Your Thumb in general is going to be a really, really good Hex perk, I think. Especially for lower tier killers who can struggle a lot against exhaustion perks like Life and Sprint Burst, or against killers who just can't really run good anti-exhaustion perks like Mindbreaker. Like Wraith, for example. Wraith would love to run this perk. However, the thing about this perk is that the moment survivors realize you have it, they will do everything in their power to cleanse it immediately. The only reason why these survivors didn't do it is because they wanted to test out everything that they could, but like, realistically, once survivors realize you have Hex Under Your Thumb, they will literally stop at nothing to try and get that shit cleansed. So, you can use that to your advantage, for example, running things like Thrill of the Hunt, Pentimento, Retribution. All of those can work to basically punish the survivors for trying to go out of their way to cleanse this totem by just either like wasting their time or making it extremely dangerous to try and cleanse totems and give you aura reading. But like, or maybe you're playing an M1 killer, you can go ahead and run a fucking Haunted Grounds with this, and that will also work into your favor. But the main thing is that this Hex is pretty alright. It's still a Hex, so it has all of the same issues that every other Hex perk has, where if you're not running it in a dedicated Hex build, it's pretty bad, but if you're running it with a pretty dedicated Hex build, it's gonna be fucking busted. So, who cares? Landed another flick. I do not remember landing this many flicks during the PTB, I'm not gonna lie. But, yeah. So, I'm just going around, I'm patrolling the top side of the map because I'm not gonna try to play the bottom side of the map. Like, at all. Who the fuck would do that to themselves? Also, I screwed myself over on that long-range shot because of Zealous mode, curving the beam back into me when I wanted to just fire it off, turn around, and activate Pentimento. Which is unfortunate. I have no idea why she tried to stick that generator. It was nowhere near complete, and she's Death Hook. So, we get a free Mori, I guess. 6 minutes into the game, someone's already dead. It's shaping up to be a win already, and yeah, I do win this game. Spoilers. Spoilers, fucking Thanos dies in Doomsday. But, trying to think what else to talk about. I am running the Blindfold add-on, which I believe makes it so that whenever you exile a survivor, whoever has the least amount of hook stages is revealed to you by their aura for a short duration. I don't know what it was, but I just don't think I got any value out of this add-on this game, which is really weird because I've been exiling a lot of people. However, there is another stipulation to that aura rating where they have to be a certain distance away from you, similar to barbecue and chili. And I guess because this map has multiple layers, if they're below me, their aura isn't revealed to me because they're technically within that meter radius. But I don't know for certain. I'm going to assume that's probably the reason why. Now there you can see me trying to, like, get the Divine Light to drop down here so I can fire at this generator, which I know that they're on, which doesn't end up working, but, you know, it's the thought that matters. Like I said, this map kind of sucks for trying to get your Divine Light to work. Also, I'm pretty sure I just aimed at the wrong place entirely for that Divine Light to, like, try and hit them from coming out of the portal. But, like I said earlier in the video, I don't think it really matters that much because the Divine Light does not go high enough for it to hit on the top floor if you're firing from the dungeons. I could be entirely wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Now, I almost hit the Leon there, which was very interesting, and I didn't realize this, but they apparently had pre-dropped this pallet, and they managed to get the generator in the corner of the map there, as you just saw. So, already we're on a pretty iffy grounds of whether or not I might actually be able to win this game, because they are seemingly trying to break this regen that's on the top side of the map, but I'm fairly confident I can keep the generators up here. Especially since I have this chick stuck on a pretty bad loop. I don't really need to use my power if I don't need to. So, I'm able to easily down her since, you know, they have a window. It's not a strong loop. I'm able to just get them out of the game. Not out of the game, but, you know, get them on a hook fairly easily. Now I go ahead and I fire right here, and as you can see, it managed to get underneath down into the dungeons, and it like barely had enough room to hit above it. It was like a square that was actually present, but they managed to get the other generator on the top side from the you just saw, so they can actually make a pretty decent comeback so long as they just focus on doing the generators downstairs, because taking Chase downstairs is still a pretty bad idea. But I do think I come across the Aurora here eventually, the one that is on Death Hook, which means that it is fairly easy for me to go ahead and Mori her. Also, they tried a body block, and the voice line here was just perfect. You cannot escape a god, as they try to body block for her, and it's just If I ever make like a clip compilation or like edits, this clip is just gonna be completely unedited. The voice line there was just too perfect. But with that, it's just Aurora who has 0 hooks and Leon who has 1 hook. So they can pretty easily win this game still, I'm not gonna lie. 2 generators left, but I have to split my attention across both the dungeons and the top side, which isn't easy at all. And in fact, it's largely basically impossible. But to go ahead and circle things back into how Hex under the thumb, under their Hex thumb, sure, why not? I can't speak for shit. Basically, as I've already said, this perk is pretty decent on Hex builds, but outside of Hex builds, I said it's gonna be bad. But if you just want a Hex build, not a Hex perk, if you want a Hex perk that you are like guaranteed for survivors to waste time trying to get rid of, Hex under your thumb is probably your best bet in simply just wasting the survivors' time, because it is a Hex survivors will want to cleanse ASAP, which means that is time that they are not spending on generators. And that's also time for you to potentially just like run into them and injure them, or potentially even down them if they're already injured, which can be extremely helpful in various scenarios. So Hex under your thumb is one of those few Hex perks where like, yeah, this Hex is pretty strong, we should probably get rid of it, but like Hex under your thumb is like, oh, this Hex is very strong, but it also prevents me from using my strong options, and we all know that survivors want to use their strong perk options. It's basically ingrained into their brain. Also, this guy has Resurgent and is able to just use a medkit right in front of me, which, yay, fucking love that. But like, if it's one thing that survivors love to do more than anything, it is to always have the most powerful options available to them, regardless of circumstances. And if you have a perk that prevents them from having the strongest options at any certain circumstances, they will do literally anything and everything to avoid activating that perk or deactivate that perk as quickly as possible. Especially when it affects meta choices like life and sprint burst. Why do you think so many people bring Vigil nowadays? They want more uses of sprint burst in Vigil, sprint burst in life, because anti-exhaustion perks like Mindbreaker and the exhaustion that the perk gives is just too long, so they need to have more. Survivors just love having access to the stronger things more often. It's the whole reason why everyone complains about Vigil being a fucking terrible perk for like the balance of the game, and I can't blame them. It is a terrible perk for the balance of the game because it is so heavily one-sided. But in terms of Hex under your thumb specifically, as I've stated multiple times now already, Hex under your thumb is just one of those perks that survivors are going to find immensely annoying, and I guarantee you, once Hex under your thumb goes live, survivors will do nothing but complain about how overpowered this perk is, despite the fact that it really isn't, because they can still get rid of it, but it doesn't matter. Survivors are going to complain about this perk because it directly affects the most powerful perks that they have. So they don't fucking care. Also, I have no idea how this Aurora managed to unhook herself. She might have gotten the anti-camp, but I don't know. Also, least obvious dead hard in existence right there. So, I don't know how she got anti-camp there, considering that, you know, the final generator popped already. I don't know. I don't know. I just work here. I have no idea why I swung there. I'm not gonna lie to you. But they go ahead, they get the sing here. The beam just stops right in front of them because of Gojo's Infinity or something. People like Gojo still, right? That's relevant in the algorithm. But we are approaching the end of the video, so if you liked my incoherent rambling, so to say, go ahead and leave a like and a comment. Go ahead and subscribe if you want to see more. And I'm gonna go ahead and kill this Aurora and hit them with a Mori. And I'll see you all next time. Cheerio.